Hi there, and welcome to Naturally Recovering Autism. I am your host, Karen Thomas, and I want to thank you so much for being here and being a proactive parent and getting the resources that you need to let your child live their most fulfilling and independent life possible. When my own son was diagnosed with autism, I was told to drug him and try behavioral therapies, and there was nothing else that we could do for him but manage his symptoms the rest of his life. But I didn't want to do that. Fortunately, my background in craniosacral therapy of now 30 years let me know that the brain can and does heal, but I didn't know that much about autism. What I did know is that I didn't want to just mask the symptoms with dangerous drugs. I wanted to find the causes and work with them naturally. And fast forward, it took me a decade and a lot of time and effort, but today my son is no longer diagnosable with autism after being told it could not happen. So I'm here to share with you valuable resources to save you the time and some of the expense that I had to spend to figure it out, and to help you let your child lead to their best results possible. Every child's level of recovery is different, but we know that children who couldn't sleep through the night are sleeping now through the night and happily. Their immune systems are now strong where they were once sick all the time. Children who were nonverbal and their parents were told they could never speak are now speaking. Children who were getting D's and F's in school are getting A's and B's. And those that were so anxious all the time and couldn't sit still and were uncomfortable in their own bodies are now calm and happy and relaxed. And they're leading fulfilling and independent lives with friends. This is what we want for our kids. So I'm here to share the resources with you so that you can get the best results for your child, the best possible. And you can start that right now with my free download of the top 7 foods to eliminate beginning today, of the top foods that are the most inflammatory and toxic that are contributing to those physical and behavioral symptoms of autism that your child is having. They're making his life uncomfortable. So you can get that right now at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/7 foods. And feel free to share that with anybody you know who would be interested. And I will also link to it in today's show notes. There's, of course, a lot more than diet, but this is something you could start doing today that will begin to reduce those symptoms. And I'm happy to share everything I can with you. So right now, let's dive into today's episode.
Hi there, welcome back to Naturally Recovering Autism. Today I want to talk about something that isn't addressed as often as it should be. And being a mom of a child who once was diagnosed with autism myself, I understand what this is about. And we're going to talk about the hidden stresses that autism parents carry and most people never see. Now, not to worry, this isn't going to be a depressing episode. It's really about honoring you and helping you feel heard, because rarely does anybody understand. Unless you've had a child yourself with autism, nobody really quite gets it. And there is a kind of stress that autism parents carry, and it doesn't show up in the doctor's office's chart or get acknowledged in quick conversations, and rarely really gets fully understood by those who haven't lived it. And it's a quiet, constant, heavy feeling, and I know because I've lived it myself. And for years, I walked into appointments hoping to be heard, only to walk out feeling completely dismissed, having doctors talk at me. And, like what I was seeing in my own child didn't even count. They didn't pay attention to me or act like I knew anything. And like my instincts were somehow less valid than a brief clinical observation of theirs. And over time, that does something to you. It affects you, and you really don't feel heard. And you can start questioning yourself. You wonder, do I even know what I'm doing? How do I find the answers? But the truth is, we do know our children, and we know them best. The problem is we're often navigating a world that doesn't fully listen, and there's a big weight to being heard. And one of the hardest parts isn't just the diagnosis or the day-to-day challenges, it's the feeling of being unseen as a parent. And you try to explain what you're noticing, those subtle changes, the regressions, the progress the others might overlook or not see at all. And too often it's just brushed aside. So you just carry it alone. You carry the worry, you carry the responsibility, the fear about your child's future, and that constant question of what else should I be doing or can I be doing? So then there's decision fatigue that no one talks about. Every day, autism parents are making decisions that feel incredibly high stakes. They are something that can be very costly if you make a wrong choice or feel like, you don't know what you're doing with what you did. There's so much to it. Should we try this therapy? Is this supplement worth it? How do I use this supplement? Is this approach actually helping me or wasting time? What if I choose wrong? Now, all these questions come up for us, and the truth is, there is so much information out there: books, blogs, programs, opinions, and they're often conflicting. One expert says one thing and another says the opposite. So, what do? We research endlessly, and it's because we love our kids and we don't want to give up, which is one thing that I advocate: never ever give up. And late nights, early mornings, scrolling, reading, comparing, trying to piece together a path that makes sense. And even after making a decision, there's still that lingering doubt. Did I choose right? And then there's the trial and error. Oh boy, I went through this for 10 years. For many of us, the journey isn't linear. It's trial and error. You try something with hope only to realize it's not working. You have to give it enough time to see if it is working. You pivot, you try again, you invest time, energy, and money, hoping this will be the thing. And all the while, your child is growing, getting older, and you're losing time with them. I remember that was the one thing that really haunted me, is feeling that I was losing so much time with my son, that trying to wait for somebody else to figure it out. So I knew I had to figure it out for myself. And that's the part that hurts the most, knowing that there were years that were going by that, he wasn't himself yet, or living his best life yet, and that we could be having, more peaceful days together. And watching him struggle was heartbreaking, and feeling like time is just slipping by while you're still trying to figure it out. And then wondering if you're missing something that could make a difference. And yes, I lived that for 10 years, 10 years of searching, trying, second guessing, and starting over. But it was all worth it. One thing that people don't see is the emotional toll that we don't say out loud. There are sleepless nights that no one else sees, the mental load that never turns off, the constant analyzing, planning, worrying, the balancing act between hope and realism, and holding on to the belief that progress is possible while also trying to accept that it takes time, and we do have to have those realistic expectations. We are healing human biology. And in the middle of all that, trying to just be present as a parent. And it's a lot. And often we have other kids, and yet so many parents carry this silently. And a community of parents who know what you're talking about, are living it or have lived it, is very, very important. And it's why I share what I do. After a decade of walking this path, I finally found that worked. And not just random pieces, but a clearer, more structured way forward. And that changed everything, not just for my child, but for me as a parent. And because the biggest shift wasn't just progress, it was certainty. Knowing I was on the right path, knowing my time wasn't being wasted, and knowing I wasn't throwing money at things that didn't work. And that clarity brought peace in a way I hadn't felt in years. And this was subtle over time. It wasn't one day all of a sudden things changed, right? It was subtle changes over time. And it's why I do what I do today. I want you to know that you do not have to figure this out alone. If you're in the middle of searching, or the second guessing, or the exhaustion, I want you to know that you're not alone. You're not wrong for questioning, and you're not failing by any means. You're navigating something incredibly complex with very little support. And what most parents actually need isn't more information. They need a clear path, trusted guidance, and someone who truly understands what this feels like. And that is exactly why I created my membership program, my website filled with parent resources, and my podcast, to be here for you, to give you those resources, to give you the kind of support that I wish I had had during those early years. And not just protocols and not just theories, but real guidance from someone who has personally lived it, and with success. As you've heard probably if you've been with me for a while, my son's symptoms today are gone. And we know that every child's level of recovery is different, but I have seen so many kids improve in my program that the parents were told they would never get better or never speak, and today they're speaking endlessly. And I just know that anything's possible. And we only know what that is when the right roadmap has been followed, and completely thoroughly. Also, nothing important can get left out or we can fall short of the best results we could have gotten. So again, feeling hurt is, I think, one of the most important things for us on this journey. And autism parenting is not just helping our child. It's about carrying an invisible load that most people will never feel or fully understand. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, uncertain, or unheard, that doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you care so deeply and you're doing everything that you can. And that matters more than you can even imagine. So I have an invitation, because whether, depending on you're listening to this live or you've listened to it in the past, I have an upcoming live free event and I want to invite you to it. And either way, if you have missed this and it's past the time that you can find all the details and access it, anything directly that I have through my show notes for you at this episode, which is naturallyrecoveringautism.com/236. So I have free resources to offer you, and I do free events where I teach you my 4-stage process that I walked through and learned when I was recovering my own son, and how you can get the most thorough, best results possible. So head to that page and you'll find the link to my free Autism Blueprint training, where I'll share how to support underlying biological stressors in a way that honors neurodiversity and helps kids thrive. And grab one of my free resources, such as my food guide, which there will be a link for on that page as well. And you can be added to my mailing list if you're not on it already. And that way we can send you an invitation to the event when the registration does go live and it opens up. So I want to make sure that you have everything you're looking for, and all the resources are available. And today's show notes, again, will be at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/236. And as always, I do hear you and I do see you and I have felt it and I know what it feels like. And I want you to know that you're never, ever alone. And I hope that this is a place where you can come and feel safe and heard, and that the resources I share with you have been beneficial to you on your journey, and that I can continue to do that for you as well. If you know others who are on this journey and they have challenges, please share all of my resources with them. Let them know about even my website at naturallyrecoveringautism.com. There are so many people searching for what I have and don't know about it yet, and they deserve to know about it. So if you have friends or groups, share, and please let them know. So again, thank you for what you are doing for your child and your family. And please remember always to do something for yourself, even if it's just being able to go out for a 5-minute walk, or to be able to go sit in peace and read a magazine or something that's not health related or related for your child for 5 minutes, or just go sit still and breathe. You deserve it. So, and remember too, I always advocate exercise for stress reduction is so important. So getting some exercise, even a simple walk, makes a big, big difference. So again, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you next time.